I had to grow up fast. When I was 6 years old, I was cooking and cleaning and taking care of kids, my siblings. I wasn't outside playing with Legos and riding bikes. We had babysitters that were just on drugs or just leaving us. No one ever told me that I was special. I was just like a waste of space and I was never gonna be anything. That's what I was told. Yeah, he got me on a couple occasions and hit me and pushed me, held a gun to my face. Trauma never goes away. It sticks with you forever. And you see trauma in everything you do. I'm sorry.
1 in 5 children, by the time they turn 16 years old, will experience at least one traumatic event in their lives. Substance abuse, incarceration of parents, violence in the family, sexual assault against a child, or the witness of that kind of stuff.
It's food insecurity, housing insecurity. We have kids who've been assaulted in the community. We have kids who've been attacked by dogs, kids who've been shot, all sorts of things that might bring kids in to seek our treatment.
Toxic trauma happens when 4 of those traumatic events occurs in a child's life. For us, we average 6, and the average age of our children is 9 years old. ChildSavers is a unique organization that's been around 96 years, and we provide a blend of prevention work, child development services for child care providers to help them provide quality work, and intervention services. That's our mental health or behavioral health work, where we provide outpatient mental health supports, crisis intervention, and training around the impact of trauma on children. So we spend a lot of our time working with the teachers of young children so that they're providing quality early learning for those kids. And so the more that we can promote that brain development in those early years, the more likely that child will have successful social, emotional, and learning capabilities. They can have resilience factors built early on so that they can have hope, they can cope, and they won't demonstrate the same adverse activities against other people in their lives.
The younger a child experiences a traumatic event, the more impact that event will have on their development. As the brain is developing, and if we're exposed to incidents of chronic toxic stress, that brain gets wired up differently. That brain gets wired up in a way that is hypersensitive to survival. If that brain is always in survival mode, always in fight or flight mode, then other parts of the brain don't get developed in the same way. Parts of the brain that work on relationship building, problem solving, being able to make decisions right now that are going to have an impact on me tomorrow, and learning itself. All those parts of the brain are developed after we feel safe. And if I don't feel safe, then I don't get to develop those parts of my brain. Trauma impacts my behavior, obviously, because I'm going to be tuned up to look for survival, so I'm more likely to get into fights and try to keep myself safe, or withdraw and isolate, which is going to impact my interfacing with the world.
He been having problems, and we got through it. It got better from hitting and snapping off, cursing, and being mostly to himself.
Yeah, there was like a little bit of anger going through me because I've been going through life hard. And there was bullies bullying me at school. I always fighted back like a true warrior.
My mom, back in 2007, she passed away. And that's what set him off, too. He loved her very much. He kind of said, "Did I kill my grandma?" And I said, "No, John, it wasn't you. It was because of her diabetes and all." They helped pretty good. They encouraged me to keep going, talk about how to get through the problems that we both had.
How are you, Maria?
I'm good, thank you.
They got the best staff here who can help you out with your problems. This place is like a big family to me. because they're always there for you. No judgment, having a little bit of fun, and just talk about your feelings. They even have a sand tray room that can help you out.
So this is our sand tray. It's a way to miniaturize everyday's big problems into a smaller scale so that people have more access to be able to manipulate those feelings and those everyday big problems in a smaller way. And they're using another side of their brain, the more artistic side, the side that has access to unconscious feelings. And the therapist in that moment is really witnessing their experience of accessing those feelings and emotions and putting it into the tray through these metaphors and figures. As adults, we have a lot more capacity to handle those really intense emotions. And for kids, it's really overwhelming and scary. So play allows them a little bit of distance so they can access those feelings where it doesn't feel that it's happening to them all over again, that they can experience a negative emotion, but at a little bit of a distance through those metaphors of play.
And so our work is really around helping that child understand what has happened to him or her, because oftentimes the behavior of children is how we mark them, if you will. We say, that's a bad child because they're acting out. And what the research has helped us understand, it's not what's wrong with the child, it's what has happened to this child.
The experiences that we have are always going to be a part of our story, and we have to remember that. We can't change and rewrite kids' stories and encourage them to do that, because that's going to be a false hope. What we have to do is help them take ownership of what they've experienced and what's been in their past, and to not let it define them.
Me and my fiance have been together for 8 years. And when I first met him, he had already had 2 children, and I had 3. And then we kind of came together and made another child and been together ever since. It's all 6 of the children come to ChildSavers.
Have you seen like a measurable effect from coming to ChildSavers as far as depression, anxiety?
Their levels have gotten lower. They have. But it's still there because they have that trauma. But they've definitely gotten better. I always wanted support as a child. So I knew that I wanted that one day for the kids. And sometimes my mom, she sees some of the things that I do as a mother and kind of regrets a lot of the stuff that she did. My kids, a lot of the way that they feel has to do with me too. You know, I'm not perfect, but they know that I'm safe and I can be a safe person and they can come to me and talk. And then also ChildSavers, some things they might share with them that they, might not want to talk about with me, but at least they have that other safe person to talk to. And that's really important. It's hard for my son to love himself, and he needs to know how special he is, and I try to make sure that he knows that. ChildSavers is really helping him a lot with that, making him feel better about himself and more confident. The most thing that I have gained is how to be a better mother for my children. I'm more aware of their feelings now. And it's hard as a parent because sometimes we feel like they'll be okay, they'll get over it. But when they're sitting down with you and they're having those moments where they want to talk to you about how they're feeling, that's the best moment. Is to just be listening about a toy. But it means so much to them. So that is what I have really, really learned and taken from ChildSavers, just to be there, to listen.
One of the most rewarding pieces of working at ChildSavers is you get to see kids coming through something difficult and then finding their own pathway through with that. And being the witness or the holder of some of those experiences is incredibly powerful.
When they can understand and express themselves, I'm feeling sad today, or tomorrow I might feel happy. That's the essence of hope, is that there is an opportunity for me to do something great. And when we see that as the professionals working with these kids, that's a really fulfilling moment in our lives.
I actually think that ChildSavers is like my family that I never had.
We got 6 kids.
I know. And I don't know what they're gonna bring, but it's gonna be great. And I have ChildSavers really to thank because they're ready to take on the world.